Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the very first open house of FAST Alumni Canada. I'm really grateful for everybody for showing up today. I know it's early still in Pacific side, but thanks everyone for joining. So the agenda for today is that we will quickly wrap up like the slide deck. Most of the updates that you will see in the slide deck, we have been sharing them like off and on the WhatsApp group. You are aware of what's happening, but this is more of a consolidated view of what we have done in the past year or so, and what are our plans for the like next term, and we'll be talking elections and all those things. So stay tuned with that. If you have any question, raise the hand. One of the moderators would pass me on the question because I can't see the question while I have the slide deck in front of me. So if you have any question, unmute yourself, ask the question or raise your hand. So my plan is to go through this very quickly so that we have more time for questions and we don't have to use the complete 2 hours that we have actually set aside for this. And just confirming that slides are moving for you guys, and you guys can see the agenda page, right? Can somebody confirm? Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is our board, the founding and interim board. Just to give a background to people who don't know how this board was formed. So when I ran for elections last time, at that time FANA was a joint entity representing both US and Canada. One of the mission statement was to form FAST Alumni Canada for the Canadian members, so we can like do few things that we couldn't do with FANA being the US entity, and we can meet locally and get some perks for which we had to get incorporated. And at that time, I reached out to a lot of people to find like-minded people. And the people that you see in front are the people that actually said yes to me and said, yes, we'll support you financially in the administration. So all thanks to you guys, and special mention to Ali Siddiqui and Numan, who were actually part of the existing during the early months, but then Numan had to move to London, and so he had to drop from the board. And similarly, Ali Bhai had to leave for a few reasons, but and thanks, I really thank these guys for stepping up and providing their time as well as finances to setting up the FAST Alumni Canada. So what we have been doing, so as you guys are aware, I've been running both the boards as the president. So our priority on the FAST Alumni Canada side has been to first do the actual solidify our corporate structure and get our accounting and tax filing in order, because that's like your track record is actually very important if you go for a CRA registered charity, to which I'll actually come later part of the discussion as well. Obviously, one of the things that we incorporated it for was to increase our donors and donations, and I'm glad that earlier from Canada we used to have 4 or 5 donors. Now we are increasing on that, and and I hope we'll continue engaging more Canadian members there as well. And goes without saying, we want to support the current students, increase alumni engagement, organize focus group and local meetups, which you have seen that has started happening this year. We couldn't do many last year because of COVID, but and the next thing that is in the works is annual dinner and election planning, and CRA registered charity status. We have been working on that, and there are a few things that where we'd actually need your feedback as well. So I'll come to that later part of the slide as well. So officially we got incorporated last year. This is our corporate name, business number. We are incorporated into the Canada Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. Thanks to Nan Rana for all the help and providing support, and and all the board members as well. I know when we were writing bylaws, it took us 6 months to write bylaws and we had to consider everything, and make it all inclusive. So kudos to everybody who spent time on bylaws and discussing every single thing. Member perks, you guys have already seen these on the website as well, and these have been communicated to all of you in the email as well. So you like Percopolis, you can get TELUS discounts, you can get Bell discounts, you can get insurance discounts. And this was one of my election promises to you guys as well, that in addition to actually incorporating FAST Alumni Canada, we will actually be providing you perks as well. But all these perks provider wanted us to be locally incorporated. So we had to do that. And the good thing about this is that we were the first Pakistani Alumni Association that was able to actually broker deals with these perk providers. The entities that are actually here for 14, 15 years, they couldn't broker the deals. So actually UET came to us to actually help them have that agreement done with TD Insurance as well. And we guided them on every step, and they recently signed up with TD Insurance for Lash Monix as well. So while we are learning from them and their experiences, we are also helping these other established entities with our experience as well. So you guys saw that like a couple of months back, I went to Pakistan. I visited all the 5 campuses at FAST, spent time there, understood the issues. I know we view things from a different lens, but on the other side, we have to view things from their lens as well. So like the first picture that you see, that's the head office, that's the Rector Saftab Maroof, and the trader of FAST and ORIC director. The second picture, this is like more of an academia and student and alumni meetup where we are discussing curriculum and feedback and doing all sort of things. So there's a Peshawar campus picture there as well, Islamabad campus. So I visited all the 5 campuses that FAST had, met their leadership, local leadership and stakeholders. That visit actually, really helped me understanding how things are going over there. So in addition to that, my agenda was to also outreach and meet our notable alumni who are actually in Pakistan, who are CEOs of all these big names and big companies, and see if I can make that kind of a connection for them. I know there are some of them who may not have had great experiences at FAST, but that connection was really necessary. Making them understand what we are doing and how they can support an initiative. So these are some of the people that I actually met over there. Most of them are CEOs of their company, and we represented the FAST Alumni Association over there as well, in their offices when we went there. So this is one of the industry academia, another industry academia. These are all the CEOs that you see with the faculty. And similarly, in addition to, there were three or four different sessions. There was a computer science session, there was an engineering session, and there was a management science session where we brought people from all the industry and made them meet FAST administration. In addition to that, I also met the local Pakistani chapters of the Alumni Association. I attended the alumni homecomings as well. So the first picture is the Faisalabad alumni homecoming, where you see Niazi brothers doing Qawwali, and then second is Islamabad Alumni Association. Karachi alum would know that the third picture is with Yusuf Bhai, who is the FAST Alumni Association Karachi president. And the last two are Lahore homecoming pictures, and the leadership, like you see, like the leadership of FAST, Usaf Lahore there as well. So In addition to these meetups, we, as I said, we recently started encouraging local chapters to start doing their events post-launch. Not all Toronto meetups are actually captured in this picture, but we, I think, believe did have done 6 this year. And so like the park launch one, the Consulate one, there was a meetup for women only. There's like Numan Bike when came last month, we did one there as well. KWC is a smaller chapter, but whenever I do go there, I meet people there. So you see Mason and Umar works for Google. So went there, met them as well. This is the Calgary meetups. There are actually 2 meetups that happened recently, thanks to the Rai Hour and Batch 92 that did their meetups over there. Vancouver had 2 meetups as well, which are actually captured here. One was actually recently done, probably last week. So that's captured over here as well. And we want like other chapters, smaller chapters to, start doing these meetups as well. And this is the only way we're going to grow, because local meetups are the only way our message can actually go all the way down to, on the personal level. Moving on, we had a mentor-mentee program, which we piloted last fall. We did a program review. Those who are not aware of this is more of, we did this pilot to actually mentor students who are studying at FAST. We paired them. So for example, somebody is doing a PhD. We paired them, somebody wants to do a PhD in US, so we paired them with somebody who had already done PhD here, somebody who is working in FANG and wants to, like somebody who wants to work at FANG, we connected them to somebody who was working at FANG. And when we did the program review, the feedback that came from mentors was that while some mentees were good, they were all like, most of them still don't understand the concept of mentoring and that they have to proactively reach out to mentors. And so when I went to Pakistan to meet the campus leadership, what we proposed to them was that we should have a tiered mentoring program. So by tiered mentoring program, what we mean is that there are some recent graduates who would be mentoring the current students. And then the second tier would be the campus administration itself. And then the top students that they feel like are, that are hungry to do more and they have passion to do stuff, then they will send those to us and then we'll pair them to the best mentors over here, because we have limited mentors and there's like 4,000 plus students at every campus, so we cannot mentor everyone. So we just want to mentor the best of the best. But regardless, anybody informally reaches out to any alumni, we don't mind that. And as long as somebody is willing to mentor them, that's totally okay as well. So in addition to that, we also did some professional partnerships. The first one is with Pakistani Women in Computing. Nawera is the current president. She's also alumni of FAST as well. So this is the picture that we took in Toronto when she was here. Then the next one is with Moazzam Chaudhry, who was the Open Global president. So we are trying to explore things, and you have seen that we have been recently doing events with Open Toronto very frequently. And like we are connected with the Open Toronto president Asif Zaidi. And Park Launch, we have done partnership with Park Launch as well. You've seen us publicizing their webinars and everything else associated to startup ecosystem in Pakistan. And the next one is very important, which is like the consortium of Pakistani associations in Canada. We felt this was needed. So we took the initiative of actually setting this up and bringing everybody together, reaching out to all the presidents of these alumni associations. And now we have an initial group And some of you guys are aware of few incidents that happened with some temporary residents over here who were also our alumni. So Consulate General actually helped us with all those issues. So we felt this was a shared platform was needed where Consulate has direct access to all the alumni associations. And we also all alumni associations can actually work together to do great things. So if somebody comes from me to us from a management science, we might not have the right context in R. So I can always refer those alumni to manage like IBA or LUMS, because they have people working on the management side. So this was the whole concept, and we are exploring our main core principles and guidelines. So this is the work in progress, and you'll see more of this details coming on this. The next thing is we implemented the donation management system for our Canadian alumni as well. You guys see it on our website. The approximate processing fee if you pay through a credit card online for us is like 5.4%, but that's fine if that's more convenient to you. But we have low cost donation and membership option as well. Interact doesn't cost us anything. PayPal has a lower processing fee as well. And you can always e-transfer to us at for both our PayPal and Interact email addresses are pay@ca.fastalumni.org. And you can transfer the membership fee with this as well. So these are our member statistics at the moment. We have total registered members as 251. Total members who have paid 2022 membership fee are 15. Out of them, actually few actually joined today, so they are actually counted here as well. Before today, they were 12. So thanks for everybody who signed up. So, and this next slide deck, or I would say the statistics actually answer some of the questions that people say why there are not events happening on the Ottawa side, or I would say Montreal side, and why our focus is on mostly Ontario, because majority of our membership is in Ontario. So we would continue to focus on other provinces as well. That's why we have board members over there in other provinces. But just laying it out there that in few provinces that we only have one member over there, so who's registered with us, right? There may be more. Our estimate is that there are 1,200 people in Canada who are FAST alumni, but those who have actually registered with us, they're only 1% from that province. So it doesn't make sense to actually focus on those provinces yet. Their local chapters right now, all of them are published on the FANA's website. Our plan is to now also create a page on our website where we will list Canadian chapters separately as well. So the updated link you will have that. So, and everybody else who is in Ottawa, Montreal, please feel free to create your WhatsApp groups or chapters and send us that link, and we'll publish that for all the members who are actually moving there and want to join the chapter. Creating a chapter, I just wanted to make sure, is very informal. These groups are not moderated. Everybody who's on GTA Fastians or Fast Vancouver, those groups are not managed by the Alumni Association. Those are managed by local chapters, and that's why we allow all sort of communication on local groups, but we restrict some communication on the main group. So financial and fundraising status. So last year we raised $4,769 from 23 donors. And after admin cost, we were around 4,655. So it didn't make sense for us to remit this small amount to FAST. So we still paired up with FANA for last year's amount, but this year probably we'll be actually remitting directly. Our target last year was that since we just started out, we were try to double the donation this year, but donation statistics are, as you see in front of you right now that we have actually less donors so far this year. Until yesterday, we collected only $3,045 in Canadian dollars. So this is everybody who's on the call. If you can take this message to your groups and your friends who are FAST alumni and see if we can meet the target that we have actually set for 2022. I'll take a pause here. Any questions that, because I can't see the screen, any questions so far from anybody before I move on? We good? Okay.
I do have a question, Ashley. Can you hear me?
Gigi.
So the question that I have, Rafael, is you've shown us the like a goal and objectives, call it, in the beginning. Do we have like a somewhere across the board, like to say that this was our goal and how far we have achieved it throughout the year and how far we are kind of, if we are lagging behind, put it this way?
No, and that's where people like you would come in and help us.
And it's probably on me too. I'm not just putting you on spot. I'm just trying. I looked at it.
No. I think that's a fair ask. So we should do that. We should track where we are.
Yeah, and I'm in it with you, right? And it's just wasn't a question for you. Just I think collectively, if we haven't done that, I think we should start thinking through that. That if we have a goal, how far we are off from that, and how can we actually do it better next time? That's all I was trying to think through.
Yep, totally makes sense, and that's a good feedback, right? So I've already noted it down.
I would like to add to this is actually the first year. This was the first year, right? This was for our IELTS. It's kind of a launching year. So goal were basically to start. It was more like a startup year. I guess isn't it first year, right?
Second year. We started last year. Yeah.
And lost the the time. Okay. Good. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. I would share with you. So on this slide that you see, there's 4,769. I'll share with you how that was actually distributed. As you see, there are these are all the projects on the left that you see: General Scholarship, Islamabad 2001 Scholarship, Designated Scholarship, Student Society, and all badge scholarships. So the second column is what was donated to us through FANAC last year. And then there's equivalent number of US dollars that you see in the third column. And our collection compared to the US entity was actually very less. But regardless, there was still I think from the previous year that was a significant difference. And we hope that we'll make some difference this year as well. And this after platform fees like Stripe processing fees, Benevity processing fees, and other expenses for the platforms, we actually had in our kitty more than 100K still. So now to distribute these funds that we collected last year, the strategy was to have 2 board members from, because we had a joint budget still last year. So we created picked 2 members from the FANAC board and 2 members from the US board, and we brought in 3 others from outside. We requested a few people to join us if they can help us, and I'm grateful that they stepped up and helped us there. And I'll come to next what the allocation and decisions that were made after 8 or 9 committee meetings that we had for finance. So I think I'm not going to spend too much. We also started on this one because we started badge scholarships this year. There were 2 scholarships that were funded for Islamabad batch 2000 from Islamabad batch 2001, which is actually being led by Rai Awar as well. We actually had a scholarship from batch 2004 Lahore, which they are already doing 1 scholarship, but we were able to sponsor another one from North America. And the last one is not available in Canada, it's only for the US residents. So the budget, how we actually allocated it was that the total amount that was raised from endowment fund plus a certain percentage, which is 4%, a small percentage of board discretion fund, because not everybody sends us the project details or the matching that we get from US as well. When the employer matches the donation. So we took some percentage from there and we put that into the endowment. The rest were the $65,000 straight went to scholarship. They were donations made for R&D. And by when we talk about R&D, these are, Oryx research centers. Then you have events like SoftTech, Procom, NASCON, and Daira, etc. So the money goes from this head. And then for events, for local events, these are events that are happening in North America, we allocated $3,000 per chapter. Not chapter, $3,000 overall, but $1,000 per chapter if they request for funding and if they're not able to meet the event expenses just by tickets. So like if they think that they're doing a grand event and they put $100 tickets, not many people would show up, we would subsidize by providing them $1,000 maximum each chapter. So I don't want to spend more time. This is more related to the FAST Alumni Association US. And then our planned support for this year for all the campuses was around $73,250. So $65,000 for scholarships plus the $8,250 that I mentioned in the previous deck for R&D. So the scholarship amounts that you see, what we allocated to each campus is in front of you. All of these amounts are in US dollars. And this percentage, before anybody asks, are decided in consultation with the FAST head office, because they know how many people are joining the campus, where the money is most needed. Because Peshawar has very less student strength compared to bigger campuses like Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. So we work with them and allocate the percentage accordingly based on their recommendation. And this percentage changes every year. So last year we had more allocation to Islamabad and Faisalabad campus and less allocation to Lahore campus. This year we had more allocation to Lahore campus. So this changes based on how it goes. But if you're allocating to a certain project, like you're allocating to a batch scholarship, which is only for Islamabad campus, or a batch scholarship that's intended for Lahore campus, that would actually go to that particular campus. Okay, moving on. I think the update for this endowment fund was provided yesterday, and we don't have the FAST US trader on this call, so I'll provide a quick update that we collected the money, as I informed you in the previous deck as well, that we allocated the money to endowment fund as well. But as soon as we were done with our finance, budgeting and everything, that how much is for endowment fund, the markets went down. You guys are aware of it. So the endowment fund manager, like they had a meeting, they decided this is not the right time as the market was going down. So for the last year, like in the last 6-7 months, there's not much action here because we have been sitting on the sideline. We didn't want that our investment should go down. But I think the update that we have from yesterday is that we would start as the market has corrected, and we'll start evaluating from January 2023 and to start investing. So because this is probably would be the best time when the market has slowed down to pick up some good deals on investments so that we can grow this endowment fund. Accountant update, we finalized Naveed Rana as our accountant. He's based locally out of Mississauga. And I think some people from our alumni already use him as the accountant. We talked to a lot of accountants and nobody was that understanding like he was. I know Nanbhai knew few people as well. I talked to a few people as well, but they were super expensive. This guy already does taxes for Nustians. And he was very accommodating. So we finalized, and he was actually willing to work with us if we actually go towards the CRA charity status in future as well. So we have appointed him. We'll be working with him to file the taxes for our previous years, so that we have a good track record maintained if we ever go in future to apply for CRA charity status. One of the things that you would start seeing or would have already started seeing is that branding changes that are happening, so that people who are moving to US or Canada are not confused where to go. So you will see this, that all the platforms would now, like where FANA was mentioned, we would be starting to rename that as FAST Alumni Association United States and FAST Alumni Canada. Having said that, both the organizations have to work together. Like, this is more for, I would say, more engagement that we have created two entities. So we local Canadians can interact, and then the United States people in the United States can interact there as well. But eventually, both the organization goals are same. We have to help FAST. We have to help FAST students, and we'll be working together. So having two organizations doesn't mean that we are not talking to each other, essentially. Everybody asks us what are the updates on the annual family dinner. So whenever you do a big event, it takes a lot of planning to do that. So in like I've been attending all the events, like whether it be UET, IBA, and IBA's actually event is tomorrow. I'll be attending that too, and then NEDs. So these guys have a lot of volunteers. They are working for a year to actually, like, for the next year's dinner, they will actually start preparing after this dinner. So if we have to do this event, so we had to start planning. So we reached out, we have actually created a volunteer group, which I would come to later. So we've already planned that it doesn't make sense to do an event in November and December because a lot of people are traveling to Pakistan. So the ideal time would be to do it after Feb. So we have started some brainstorming work on it. Some possible dates are in front of you. Date and venue would not be finalized until it would be. So right now, if you have any preference of Friday and Saturday, please let us know by in the chat what your preference is, a Friday evening or a Saturday, and we'll look into that accordingly. So the high level areas that we need volunteers for the dinner would be like decor, goodies, coordination, entertainment, ticketing. If you, and this is very important piece of thing that I would actually, want to emphasize on that, that there, like, the expectation from one or two board members to do everything is not realistic. If you go on to, even if you go on and open up Nastian USA page right now, they have like so many volunteers, dozens of volunteers. They have a person who's managing Instagram. They're a person who's managing, social media. So whenever I go and talk to the Nastian USA president, he's like, talk to my VP of industry linkages, talk to my VP of alumni, talk to my VP of, this. So they have actually have made a structure because they have a lot of volunteers who are willing to work and support their alumni network. And as we set up and grow, our expectation would be the same, that that we would have a good set of volunteers and more volunteers coming in to actually help and with our initiatives. So these are the registered volunteers that we have right now for the annual family dinner. If you're interested to volunteer for our dinner that's happening in GTA, please message me or message one of the board members, and we'll add you to a group that we have created. We have not decided yet. We have set up bi-weekly meetings for this annual dinner. So soon we'll decide who will be heading the event and logistics and everything, and everybody else would be supporting them in the other areas. With that, I come to the election commissioner's appointment. So there are few things that I think we cannot make a decision on until we know that we have our members' trust. So my term also, because this was the interim board on Fast Alumni Canada. My term on FANA, like the Fast Alumni Association US, is coming to an end as well. So it was best time to actually hold elections for both the bodies and entities, so that members on the US side as well as the Canadian side can elect people whom they trust. So Ahmed Bhai, you may want to cover the next slide if you're still on the call.
Yes, I am on the call here. So yeah, I mean, everybody's help is needed to, first of all, become a member. And in order to become a member, you know, you have to be a paid member as well as at least $50 donation. Please make so before the end of this month. So we will conduct the elections in November. So after the election, hopefully the new board members can do shadowing the month of December and then take charge in January. So yeah, I mean, please spread the word and maybe nominate passionate people who like Raphael, who can join. And he's alone carried the load of two boards, and I would say not alone, but yeah, a little bit help from the others too. But I think we wanted, he wants to, and we want to leave a legacy there that will create multiply people like ourselves, or even better than ourselves, so that they could take the organization to the next level here. Inshallah, we can do it. This is not an unachievable goal. This is exactly how the FANA, the US side started. And before we know it, we know there is more alumni in Canada. The Canadian contribution will be more than the US contribution, inshallah.
Thanks, Ahmed Bhai. And with that, I think a lot of people have been asking me questions. Like, so I personally at this moment don't plan to rerun for both sides. I think new people should come in, and I would be in the supporting role. Like, I know that this handover transitioning takes time, but if, like, as I said on the message as well on the group, is that if we don't have a lot of candidates, then we would see. But I'm just, against this idea of, when people talk about Nazariya Zarurat, I don't necessarily agree with it. New people should come in, do a lot of exciting stuff. Or the support of all the previous board members would be with you. So, but the only thing that we have to focus on is the more voting members, because right now we only have 15, so we have to please nominate the best of the best for the elections. Also, if you are from British Columbia, Alberta, please do nominate people from there as well, because we need representation of all chapters. So yeah, and I'll just leave this with that. There would be communication made once at the end of the October 31st. We would send the list of eligible members to the election commissioner, and then he'll decide on the next communication to these members and share what the voting procedure would be, and the list of candidates, mission statement, and everything else. Now, one of the things that I also wanted to clarify, that there were some people who paid membership fee in 2021. We actually rolled all of them to 2022 because it didn't, because we rolled the membership fee very late in 2021. So anybody who has paid 2021 fee is part of that 15, because we included you. So in fact, thanks to Shirin, she actually paid the membership fee twice. So we'll roll our membership fee to the next year. Anyway, so moving on. So our challenges right now are limited volunteers for great ideas. We want to focus on a lot of things, but we have limited volunteers. We have also limited alumni engagement. And when I say limited alumni engagement, right now, I see actually like 19 people on the bridge from Canada, while we have 251 registered members. So I would have expected at least 50, 60 show up today if, we and have be part of these discussions, because all of this is being done for you. None of the board members here is being paid. All of these are volunteers, and they're all, so we actually expect, if we are spending time on the alumni association, we also expect that you would do participation. And similarly, same goes for the annual dinner as well, right? There's a team that we have actually created to do annual dinner, and we book the hall, and if we don't sell the tickets, what's going to happen, right? All the effort is going to be lost. So we expect that you guys would start engaging more, helping people more, and help us with fundraising issues as well. We are still way off our target, as I shared earlier. So please take the message to all your batchmates, and if they have not registered with us, help them register as well. With that, how can you help become an active voting member? Pick an initiative and donate your time, support students financially, start and engage with local alumni chapters, and help whenever you go back, help the local campus to mentor students, or if they have any final year projects, please help with them as well. So with that, I just wrap up the presentation piece of it, and I'm going to open up the floor for any questions that you may have been thinking. So yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi. I just want to ask, like, in terms of the people who donated last year, were members, like 23 members, right? And this year we have 11. So is there any feedback from those 12 individuals who have not participated so far in 2022, in terms of like what is like, maybe what's their feedback on why they have not been able to do so?
We have not. And one of the things that I think it's bad on our part is that we haven't shared these numbers very candidly through email messages as well, right? This was a feedback yesterday as well, that if we are not raising that what we were supposed to as well. But what we have noticed is that both on the US side and Canadian side, if last year when we sent out the fundraising message, and early this year when we started fundraising messages as well, people actually unsubscribed from our mailing system. And now we, like, all those guys who unsubscribed, we actually cannot even reach them altogether, right? So this is where we are just trying to be sharing these updates more on social channels rather than email channels, because that's a concern that we don't want to lose the connection with you altogether. But I think in general, your idea is fine. We did this last year as well. We reached out to who donated in the previous year and didn't donate in this year. This year we did reach out to a few people. The response had been that since they had donated to the flood victims, they are not, like, the money that they had has been routed towards there. So there has been some reach outs, but we still need to go back and see who we haven't reached out to, and see if they would like to pitch in this year as well.
Yeah. So one comment here, I've been doing fundraising for FANA for the last 5 years, and people do donate if you ask them, and also ask them for their time. Time is more important than the money to help us grow FANA. It is just also, we didn't have enough bandwidth to send those reminders or to send those messages out. We wanted to start this thing a little sooner, but because of the flood, we thought, okay, it's not a good idea to do that right now. But I don't think raising $10,000 should be that difficult. I mean, I guess, like, there are 20 members here, even $100 each. That's like hundreds or $150 each. It's like half the money there or something. I'm not doing the math right, but anyways, it's just giving the message out that why we are doing it. We are supporting the students to go into the professional world, people who cannot afford it. So as they say, they're teaching a man how to fish. So we are supporting people have a better lives there. So it's just the way we deliver the message, and we need volunteers to help us collect. So all of you are advocates of FAST. So if each one of you could just go ahead and help us get at least 3 donors, that would help.
Yeah, and Martin, just to
Can I
answer
add
the
something?
question, I cannot have the same relationship with 99 that you would have, right? If you go to Asim Ijaz and like everybody else in the who have not even registered with the Alumni Association, they would, right? Rather than, I do have a relationship with them, but I don't force anybody else. So it's an opt-in model. But obviously, if you know the person well, you have that relationship as a batchmate, that helps. So that's why we actually say that everybody here is an advocate of our Alumni Association, because you are members of this Alumni Association. So please take this message to those who are not here. We will share these statistics on the group right after this, like in the next few days as well, that this is where we are. So we just need help to raise this much money, which we have actually set for the end of this year. Sorry, somebody was asking question and raised hand.
Yeah, no, just Rafael, this is Rai. We're just trying to concur what Malik said, that what I've seen at least last year or this year, call it, that if I personally reached out, right, to anybody that I call, actually donated, right, in terms of the finances. So that's one. I definitely concur that it just requires a little bit of effort on our end, but it did happen. I think on the second part is I haven't reached out in the perspective of asking for time, but I'm sure it's like a little bit more effort. A phone call goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of universities, alumni, I mean, I for some reason it happened that I graduated from 3 colleges here because I transferred my hours. And each one of the 3, I get at least a call once a month to donate to those alumni, except from FAST though. But the point is, yes, the call makes. And here's another interesting thing, Rafael, I would say. I had less luck with my own batchmate or the closer than the people that were not in my batchmate that I knew, because somehow that as long as I was able to show them, and the way I reached out is I reached out, hey, do you know about FANA? Do you know what we are doing? Have you heard? Have we been doing a good job apprising you? So often their answer is yes, yes, and then we say, okay, would you mind to contribute? People don't say no to it. So they're like, okay, yes, we will contribute. So it's a matter of just asking. I know it's hard, but we are doing it not for ourselves. Allah has granted us so much good things, better life here, and we want lives to be better in Pakistan. So that's why we are doing it.
Makes sense. So yeah, so we are planning to send out, we have already sent out the numbers on the US side, that this is what our numbers are. We'll be doing the same on the Canadian side as well. We were expecting that like many participants would actually know the numbers on the call today as well. And after this, we'll share these numbers with the rest of the members as well, and through the email as well. So that's our plan. Any other issues, things, feedback that we need to talk about? This is an open thing. You can ask any question, you can criticize us. I actually have a notepad just next to it. I'm making all the comments or feedback here. So, and I'm just gonna post it on my screen until I'm gonna fix or take care of some of those issues.
Rafael Faizan here. So I think I love the idea about it goes a long way. I mean, most of us here are busy with our lives, and FANA is just another distraction, right, for most of us. But if you get a call from someone asking for help, I think that makes a lot of difference. So we all appreciated that idea. So why don't we try this out with the upcoming election when we need more members to sign up, and we need more members to register as a candidate as well. Can we give that approach a try to see how successful we are in that election campaign this time around?
Sounds good.
I think definitely we could do that. I mean, again, it's we need your help. I mean, right now we have delivered some of the messages. Maybe we could get all the list of numbers there and maybe distribute it among, let's see, a few volunteers to make that call. So would that work? Are you offering, okay, I'll make calls to
Absolutely.
15 people, and then somebody says, I will make 15 calls.
I mean, I can dedicate an hour, half an hour in my day. I mean, at least an hour a week to just call. I mean, I call my customers from where I work every day. So why I think I can make a few calls to my fellow firsters as well. Make a big difference.
So
Yeah, so this is how we this is how we
help distribute.
So Ahmed bhai, this is how we've done in the past, right? Come up with a standard message in the group of volunteers. So like you have the FANA quoting, there's a separate group of FANAC volunteers as well. So we can come up with a message there and say, hey, like, and export that list of numbers that we have had. Because during the membership, when we are collecting the membership registration, we are not collecting the number for obvious reasons, because we don't want to be too intrusive. But we know who like we know the numbers of who they are, because everybody's part of the WhatsApp group. So maybe everybody can pick those few numbers and start messaging them and say, this is like a standard generic message. This is our fundraising status. Would you like to contribute and become a member by, October 31st, so that you're able to vote in the next elections?
Yeah, just make a Google Docs and you'll see. Just put your name against who you have called. So you'll also see. In fact, the people who are going to volunteer could become, mashallah, the next board members too with their activities.
That's the plan, right? So, and this is why I don't want to budge on any. I know we have 251 members, and if we deprive everybody not to vote, but I think the leadership should be decided by people who are actually serious about the organization. And if we give any relaxation in terms of election procedure this year, then it would just set up a precedence for future as well. So we have to make sure that a lot of people join, they become paid members, they donate that money, and then they decide the next leadership. And while we are at it, I know I mentioned the CRA charity status issue. So we have had discussion with it. We have talked to other associations here as well, including UAT, who are actually collecting more money than us, like $25,000 or whatever. And none of them have CRA charity status. And one of the thing is that it's rather difficult to get a status here, but not impossible, but difficult. But the response has been that, or the feedback from them has been that, if you are the cost to manage a charity, a Canadian charity, is too much. So if your donation is like $4,000, $8,000, doesn't make sense to actually. So they said that go with a benchmark of 15K. They were actually asking me to actually set the budget for 15K. And if you're able to do 15K this year, then probably it makes sense to go for a CRA charity status, because the accountancy cost, the management cost, if you even go and right now see how much masjids are actually paying to have their status and how much they're paying to their accountants, you would see they're actually just paying $38,000 just to their accountants. So we don't want to incur extra costs. So we are leaving this decision. So we're going to try our max to increase as much donations this year, but we are going to be actually leaving this decision to the next board and the elected board, that they would like to go for the charity status, or they still want to focus on as a non-profit like all the other, because there's charity overhead that would come going for the charity status. So this should be the board decision of the elected board, which way they want to go. And this is this reason we have actually, after like mid of this year, we have stopped discussing this, saying that we will leave this decision, we will leave this decision to the elected board. Any other questions, feedbacks?
No, let's get the process rolling. Not just for the election, for the annual dinner and all that. I'm excited. This thing has kicked off, and it is nowhere but to go up. So
Perfect.
I'm confident next year you guys would easily beat even 15K and even to 20K.
Yeah, this is Adnan. I just want to give one feedback that this is just a start, like especially in Canada, we just start. Like the way the fastions are increasing, especially in I'm going to talk about the British Columbia, the West Coast, it is getting better and better. And now I have made the ground, memberships will come. It will take time, but there are really good times ahead. I think in coming years, because this is a start of a new, like I would still say it's a start, but I'm looking like from my experience, this is gonna grow, and it's gonna grow very well, and hopefully like the so far we are only discussing most of the problems, but I can see there will be a lot of things gonna happen, especially in on the Ontario side, but eventually it's also gonna come to British Columbia as well. We are doing small meetups. We are trying to meet every month, but I'm seeing the new fastions are coming like regularly to Canada. So I have a very good feeling about this organization. It's gonna grow very quickly. That's all.
Yeah, and I just received a private message from somebody that said that you didn't discuss the bank account as an accomplishment. So yes, setting up a bank account was a challenge with board members, as you know, it needs signatures, wet signatures from all the board members across the Canada. Took us 6 months, but we were able to set up the bank account as well. So yeah, that's an accomplishment as well. So anyways, I think we actually wrapped up in a good time. We didn't need the whole 2 hours, so it was good enough. So please feel free to nominate good people for the board, become voting members, and donate to the organization. That's our core message. And I'm hoping that the next board will take this organization to the next level. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rafael.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.